Hello everyone, my name is Random Gamer Riven and today I'm going to be taking you in this randomised gaming video on a tour of the PlayStation 3 store. And the reason I'm doing that is because of the recent announcement that Sony were going to shut down the PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita and PlayStation Portable stores, although we're a bit confused about the PlayStation Portable store as the PlayStation Portable store has been shut for a number of years now, so it wasn't entirely clear what they were going to shut down. Supposedly, the PSP shutdown is still going ahead, and I think it's the 2nd of July, everything that's going to shut down related to the commerce side of it. However, we're not exactly sure what's going to be shut down or removed. Some suggestion it might be the PSP games that were included in the PS3 and PS Vita stores. Others have said that no, if they're in the PS Vita and PS3 stores, they'll be staying up as they was only be shutting down anything related to the PSP content. Either way, we have basically had a state of the reprieve, I suppose, for the PlayStation 3 stores and the PlayStation Vita stores. Now, it does remain to be seen how long this reprieve is. There's been some suggestion that maybe Sony will update it and actually update the store. That's what a lot of people hope. However, I'm not so sure. I think they are just going to basically delay the inevitable by a year or two. I think part of the reason they pulled back on this closure is because of the fact Sony are currently trying to sell a digital PlayStation 5 console that's a digital only one and it doesn't have a disc drive, and basically it doesn't look good if you're trying to sell that while at the same time shutting down the digital storefront. And in the case of the PlayStation Vita, the console is only just about hit 10 years old. I think it's still, maybe it's 9 years old. It's not that old, and many games on it are only digital only, so basically they were just canning the Vita almost, because you would not have been able to get most of the games. And Vitas themselves are getting quite pricey. Memory cards are in quite short supply as well, sadly, so everything is raising in price. Sadly, it's not cheap to buy the Vita if you want one now. We'd quite like to grab a unit ourselves, but it's just the cost and the lack of memory cards makes it rather difficult, sadly. Now, the reason I'm here in the PlayStation 3 store is because I want to show you just what a mess the PS3 store is at present, and hopefully Sony might actually do something to update it. So there is a whole wealth of games in the PS3 store, but at the same time it is an absolute nightmare to navigate. So I'm just going to show you the first thing. Originally the PS3 store had an alphabetical searching order. These days you actually have to spell everything out. So the first problem is if you've got anything like dyslexia, you're going to instantly have problems trying to spell out the names of games. They used to have an alphabetical sort in the old storefront, but when the PS4 came out around that time, they updated the PS3 storefront into this monstrosity. So what you have to do is spell out the name of a game. So let's say Crash Bandicoot, and slowly but surely it will load them up. So there we go, Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot 2, 3, yeah, you get the idea. It gives you the names of the Crash in it, so it's looking for everything with Crash in it. The problem is this page here does not actually, this search index is terrible because many items in the store won't turn up in this search index, and I'm going to discuss that a little bit later. In fact, I'm going to discuss everything I'm mentioning later. But yeah, basically if you've got any sort of, if you're not very good at English or understanding words, like you've got dyslexia or something, just navigating this store was, this redesign was absolutely abysmal. I hated it when it came out and I still hate it to this very day. It should have been axed and redesigned. So as you can see from the very front screen, you basically have, we've had FIFA 2019 on it for a very long time now. And even all these sections have long since not been updated in a long time on the PS3 store. By the looks of it, based on the Vita games, it looks like the last update, because the PS3 you can buy some Vita games on it. In fact, you can buy a large chunk of them up to about 2018, at which point Sony appear to have stopped updating the PS3 store. So I literally go to new releases. That's PS, it's got some Vita, yeah. So if I click something like this one, Neuro Voider, we can see this was released on 14th of March 2018, so this is one of the most last games updated on the PS3 store before Sony clearly obviously stopped updating it. You've got PS Vita games. There are, you can buy some PS4 games on it. Now, the PS3 store at the time was very good, worked well. Unfortunately, these days it is very much just caving apart. And I'm going to go through some of the many issues. Now, one issue that has been raised is Sony, despite the fact they have ceased the shutdown, could still delist lots of games, and in April this year they already did start delisting a large chunk of them. Now maybe that's because licensing, but basically Monkey Paws, who were a publisher who handled many of the PS1 games, seem to have disappeared, and all their games have recently been pulled. So first off, one PS1 game I want to demonstrate that has been yanked fairly recently is Tekken. The original Tekken was on the PS3 for PSV, basically available on the PS3 store, and you could buy it for PS1. As you can see, it's not here. Now, it's just gone. Tekken 1, it's just not here. There's just nothing. If I spell Tekken, oh, it's going to give me the same list. But if I spell Tekken, Tekken 5, Tekken 5 Dark Resuscitation, which digital only PS3 game. It does have an offline mode. We've covered it on a video on the channel and I'll just link to it. But that's gone. Kalonga as well, which is another Namco game that was on the PS1 store. KL. As you can see there, these are the only games coming up. And Ark the Lad as well has also disappeared. All the Ark the Lads were on here and they've all gone as well now, sadly. I'll just show you Ark that. These all went in about April because I grabbed a few of them, titles I hadn't picked up, Monkey Paws I should say, titles back in about January, February, and now they're gone. So Ark the Lad, as you can see there, it's just not showing up. If you even search the Ark, that's all it's going to give me. It's just gone. A long time ago, there used to be a direct page. I mean, this is one of the problems Sony complain, oh, people don't want retro games. Well, a long time ago, there used to be a PS3 Classics, PS1 and PS2 Classics page in this store. It's still in the North American store, but for some reason, Sony of Europe, in their infinite wisdom or incompetence more like, removed the link. So basically, PS1 and PS2 games no longer had their own separate page. Originally they did, which was quite helpful, then they took it away, and now you can't find them at all in the store via these pages. You have to basically manually search. So if there's an issue searching for a game, you can't get it. There were a couple of games like Rapid Angel, which was supposedly released in the PS3 store. I've never been able to buy it. It just seemed to have got delisted almost as soon as it was released, or more specifically, it may have been available but nowhere was linking to it, as there's a lot of broken items in the store. But yes, that's another way. Although Sony have said they're not going to close it down, they could just do mass delistings, which is one issue that may well occur. You may well just see the store lose games over time from just huge delistings, and then eventually Sony can say, hey, we've got nothing to sell in the store anymore, everything's being delisted, so we're going to shut it down as well. Really what this needs is an update, and I think they need to relist a lot of the stuff that has been delisted. Certainly the PS1 games and things like that, they should get up. And they should have released a lot more PS1 games. I mean, games like Gunner's Haven, The Adventures of Lomax, Shadow Masters, Overboard, the Lemmings collection on PS1, Kingsley Adventure, all those great Psygnosis games Sony now own the rights to, they could have released in the PS1 store and just didn't. And there's quite a few more, like Project Horndale, Hermit Hopperhead Scrap Panic, the Japanese only games. They're perfectly good to be released in the West because they have very little text. They could have been released certainly in Europe, where they've never been released before, but they never did. And it just shows you how broken the store is. Now, next up I'm going to show you just how broken some of the games are with this actual listing. So, one of the issues is the online issue, is that you can't now buy online passes. Now, that's understandable for games where they've closed the online, but Sony could have just left the online available passes for free and just said this is just to stop the messages, because games like Starhawk, that I'm just about to link to, basically have constant, hey, you haven't got an online pass message. Well, the problem is they've removed it. Now, Starhawk's quite an hilarious one. You have the online mode still, which is dead, but there's a few elements of the online mode I think you actually need, because there's a few offline bits. like the prospector mode, and you also have the campaign mode. But what's interesting, and this is just shows you the problem with the PS3 store, is clearly Sony need to check that you can actually buy content, because I've gone through, so stuff like this, Hand of the Founders, not available for purchase, tell me more. So okay, that I need to be a member of the beta. But there are some other items, so you've got some 3 DLC there. I actually bought some of this DLC, not the cosmetic stuff, but there's a couple of bonus equipment and weapons. But what's really hilarious, and this shows you how bad, is the Maya prospect map. Now you'll notice there's no price at that, because you can't buy it. Sony have clearly not checked that you could actually, Europe have checked that you could clearly actually go ahead and actually buy this item. They've not done basic shopping tests. And this item, for some reason, there is no payment option. Despite the fact Starhawk is a Sony of Europe game, you cannot buy this item. It's just a mess, and it shows you everything wrong with the PS3 shop. I mean, you've got items here. I want to buy this map. I do actually want to buy this one. I bought the other map. I can't buy this one. Nothing will let me buy this. You cannot buy this map. No idea what's going on there. So that's one of the issues. And there are quite a few items in the PS3 store that will have that. You cannot buy them. There are some items where if you download 3 DLC, I found, will then prevent you from buying the bundle versions, which is another fun one, a la God of War Ascensions, which would prevent me from buying the bundle. I already have God of War Ascensions, but the thing is that if you download some of the 3 DLC, it prohibits you from buying the actual bundle version with all the DLC in. So, and the bundle version is much cheaper, so then you physically need to set up a new PS3 PSN account just to buy it, because of how Sony have done that weird policy. And that's just one of the issues. Now, another issue is that some games don't have the DLC linked to them in their account. So I'm going to jump to Motorstorm 2. I actually going to show you Motorstorm 1 and 2 in a bit, because Motorstorm 2 is a separate issue to Motorstorm 1. Motorstorm 1 actually is a really serious issue, and I will be discussing it in a shortly, because that actually breaches the sales of good acts in this country, here in the UK. So Motorstorm Pacific Rift. So this is an issue that a lot of games have, and you'll see there. So if I go to add-ons, you will see we have Motorstorm Rift has two DLCs. That's your lot, 2 DLCs. The thing is, it didn't have 2 DLCs. It actually had a load of 3 download artwork that's available to download. I assumed initially that had been delisted. Oh no, it's a little bit more complicated than that. Basically, someone at Sony hasn't done their homework and linked those 3 DLCs to the main game. And how do we find those 3 DLCs? Well, we're going to have to go to the PlayStation Store homepage. I'm going to have to do this, and this is where things get nightmarish, and you will have to do this with quite a few. I'm going to have to set the platform to PS3, if you're PSP, PS3, and then, so PS3 only DLC, we sort oldest first. And now I'm going to demonstrate what a nightmare this shop is. If you want certain DLC, you literally have to scroll through 11,227 items. So let me show you what the experience of that is scrolling through. So you're looking for, this is oldest first, and I want to hit 2008. Oh, and the store has done what I absolutely wanted it to do. It's crashed. So you'll get a lot of that in the store. The PlayStation 3 store crashes a lot, and I do mean a lot. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why since 2014 I've only ever used the website store to purchase games if I wanted to buy anything on the PS3 or for the PlayStation Portable. Sadly, with Sony taking that storefront down, I now have to resort to going back to the PS3 store. And because it's done that, it's going to make the video a nightmare to edit, but I'm glad it's crashed. The PS3 store is incredibly unstable, and I'll mention the purchase errors at the end as well. Basically, it crashes a lot. If you're going to buy stuff, you need to add stuff to your cart and exit out before actually going through, because if you spend too long in the shop, the store has a memory leak and will crash. And not only the PS3 store has a memory leak, the PS4 store has the same problem. And it just shows you how solidly built this store is. I mean, this is just shocking. You should not have to constantly have things crashing. So again, I need to go filter, PS3, oldest thirst. Suffice to say, I've actually literally gone through almost every DLC to find out games that I hadn't purchased the DLC for. And there's a lot, there's an awful lot. So where are we in the timeline? If you click on items, you can see their release date. So we are in 2009. I think it's a bit further down. I think it's 2009, not 2008. Motorstorm Pacific Rim. That's Borderlands. I think I skipped too far down. There we go. There we go. I had skipped a bit too far down, but that gives you the idea. Basically, here we have Wombat Signature Livery Pack for Motorstorm Pacific Rim. So it is 3 DLC. It should be linked to the game, but it's not, as Sony have obviously set it up wrong. So you do have a lot of stuff, 3 DLC, that's only available in this section. I had the same trouble with the Hustle Kings 2-3 DLCs. I could not find them linked in the store, and literally I had to come to the add-on section and scroll down here. And you have to know roughly when the game is released and then scroll down. And I can tell you, for the older games, start from the oldest first and scroll down. For the newer games, there's a lot more DLC as it goes on. But it's basically an absolute mess to navigate. Now, next issue I actually want to raise in this store, and this is a very serious issue. Is that some games you can still buy the DLC for, and Sony have not provided the patch required to use them. So the original Motorstorm is a game where the online has been shut down. Now, if you happen to have been a PS3 owner from the start, or have used a lot of PS3 games, you will know that the early PS3 games did not use the patching server that later applies to the later games. The early games do not use the patching server. As a result, in order to use the DLC, you had to go online via the game itself and then download the patch in-game. That applied to games such as the original Resistance Fall of Man, Untold Legends Dark Kingdom, I'm just looking up there to remind myself of the name there, Everybody's Golf World Tour Edition, the retail version of that one. So what that means is that basically if you haven't downloaded the patch, you can't use the DLC. And just to show you here, so this is the double track pack DLC. This one says online only in the description. You can actually use it in the time trial mode. I'm just going to show you there. So I think this one doesn't tell you need to download the DLC, or the pack. So that one, although it says online only, you can use it, but you can use those tracks, but only in the time trial mode. Now, the time trial mode, time attack mode, I should say, you need this mode. Now, I'm going to read you there, because this one directly states, before installing, please load Motorstorm from the Blu-ray disc, select online an appropriate game universe, and install any updates if prompted. So from what I understand, if you buy this DLC now, you must, like myself, have already downloaded the 3.1 patch in-game. At present, you cannot download that 3.1 patch anymore. What Sony need to do is add the 3.1 patch to the stores as a 3 download. Because they've shut down the online, you can't get the patch the way it was originally done. So as you see there, it said basically download the patch. And the same with the other DLC as well. There's two. You got the Revenge Weekend. I think this one says it as well. The Revenge Weekend. I've downloaded all of these, but I have the patch, so new tickets. So that one doesn't mention it there, but I think a lot of these, I don't believe they will work now, because unless they include the patch with them. So the Devil's Weekend as well. I think this one tells you with... Yeah, before installing, select online from the MotorStore main menu and download the patch. So basically, the DLC, I've been able to buy this because I already downloaded the patch many years ago and I've still got it on my hard drive. But if I lose that patch, I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose the DLC and that will make me very unhappy. So people need to get that backed up and made available. Sony need to add the patch into the store. And the other thing is you should be aware of is that some DLC in 3 updates were only. So Lair is a really early PS3 game. Lair, again, it doesn't use the patch server. Lair is a bit different to MotorStorm in that Lair, they decided, so this is the thing in the PS3 store, you'll literally see it slow down as it literally starts memory leaking on me, so it's doing it there. But if I do Lair, you will actually get some 3 downloads. So basically what they did for Lair is they released the DLC as 3 shop items, I should say. So Deadly Dragon's Pack and the Skyguard Upgrade Pack. These are basically the 2 patches to allow you to use the additional dragons and the patch to basically use you the normal non-6-axis control, because trying to play Lair with the 6-axis controls is absolutely abysmal. So you want both these. When they shut down the PS3 store, fortunately they delayed it, these patches will be gone, you will no longer be able to get them. MotorStorm has the issue where basically if you haven't already downloaded the patch, you can't use the DLC, so Sony need to add in the patch as a 3 download to the store. And Lair has the issue where the DLC, basically the patches, because it was a really early game, has been done via shop items that you need to download. So download those items now if you ever intend to get Lair, because once the shop closes you will not be able to get those DLCs, and they are integral to the game as it doesn't pack. I actually quite enjoyed Lair, but I didn't play it with the 6-axis controls. So next up, and I should actually point out Everybody's Golf. So the one I did mention, Store Wants to Play Ball. Yes, I do Everybody's Golf World Tour. So Everybody's Golf World Tour, basically they were obviously aware they were going to shut down the online edition. So what they did is Everybody's Golf World Tour, because they shut down the offline, a disc version can no longer use the DLC unless you've downloaded the original update. This complete bundle includes all the patches and all the DLC automatically. So basically if you still want to use the DLC with Everybody's Golf World Tour now, you have to buy this complete edition version. This is actually a separate executable, I noticed as well, with everything included. They obviously redid the whole game with all the patches and all the DLC, which is fantastic. Not so good if you've got the disc version. Basically if you want to use the DLC, like the Kratos character from God of War, you need to buy this version. We have downloaded this version. It does contain all the DLC. It doesn't patch as well because it's already got all the updates and patches installed. But if you have the original disc version now, you cannot download the DLC. They have removed it from the store. Oh, there we go. Kratos and Sackboy. I think they were both DLC characters, but you can't basically, as said, you cannot get the DLC now for the original disc version. You have to buy this complete bundle that includes the DLC and all the patches. So next up, what I'll show you is how badly listed some of the games are. So I'm going to show you Mad Dog. So you may have seen our recent video. We covered Mad Dog McCree 1 and 2. So I'm going to do Mad D. So there you go, Mad Dog McCree. Now, as I mentioned, you may have seen we covered all the Mad Dog McCree 1, Mad Dog McCree 2, Fast Draw Showdown, and Last Bounty Hunter. We've also done a log play of the original Mad Dog McCree. Now, something you might think, oh, well, hey, where's the second game? And that's a good point. So if you search via the search method, you will not find second Mad Dog game. And this just shows you how bad the store is. Mad Dog McCree 2 does not come up in the search function. Do you want to guess how you find Mad Dog McCree 2? We have to go back and drop back to the PlayStation Store. Oh, it's getting slow. It's going to crash again because the memory's leaking. Yep, the only way I could find Mad Dog McCree 2, this is the only way I could legitimately purchase the game. It's clearly not been delisted as it's still in the store. And I should add, there are a few delisted games still hanging around in the store, and I managed to find out you can purchase them. So just to show you actually need to add filter. Select PS3. So and then I'm going to need to go all games. The easiest way to find it is to do all games A to Z. But this indicates the problem with the store. So we've got PS3 and we've got A to Z. So now I'm going to have to go through the store till we find what should be Mad Dog. So as you see there, it wasn't coming up in the search, and this is the problem. If you do via the search, you may come to the conclusion that Mad Dog 2 is not in the store. So I'm just going to pause it there. So this is the thing. I'm up to C at the minute. So D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. Let's see, just how close are we to the... Where are we? I'll do that. Infamous, we're still only at I. H, I, J, K, L, M. Let's try that. Need for Speed. Okay, we've shot up. Oh, there's Nights into the Dream. Motorstorm RC. So yeah, this is the navigation that you have to go through. I mean, they're passing some great games. So there we go. Mad Dog McCree. There's Mad Dog McCree. There, listed here is Mad Dog McCree 2. So there we go, try 3 demo. The only way to get to the actually purchase the game is via, so you have to scroll down here and click here, and hopefully this will still, yep, so there we go, we've got the purchase page. So there we go, Mad Dog to the Lost Gold. I'm definitely noticing they are rapidly pulling games. The total number of PS3 games is rapidly decreasing this past month or two. They seem to be losing a few every month. A few seem to be going by the way of the dodo, so it really is worth grabbing them now. But yes, that shows you how bad some of the items are listed in the PS3 store. The other thing is that the cross-buy stuff is not well explained. One of the issues I had with Hustle Kings is that it's still going to work. So I bought the PS3 version of Hustle Kings. It has got some differences to the PS4 version. I actually prefer the PS3 career mode to the PS4 version. Because a lot of stuff is just bad. Again, the store is getting incredibly slow, so it's probably going to crash out on me again. Hence why I say you should add stuff to cart before you buy. So Hustle Kings Complete PS3. I actually bought this, although I will say I purchased this on my actual personal account. See, this is one of the issues, that cross-buy items aren't made clear. Now this is Hustle Kings Complete PSVita. You would assume this is a PSVita, but actually it's... Yep, there you go. So, note, multiplayer and all online features of the product will be terminated, blah, blah, blah. Buy this product for PS Vita and get the PS3 version for free. After purchasing, simply head to the download store, download list for the PS3 and be able to find the products ready to be downloaded. So yes, this gives you both the PS3 and PS Vita versions, and this is actually the cheapest way to buy both of them in a bundle. I think it's cheaper than buying the PS3 version. It's DLC on its own. So, but that's another thing. It's not clear when some items are cross-buy and when some items include both. And lastly, I'm just going to show you how bad the PSP items are listed in this store. So you will actually see the PSP. Some games are listed as PS3 stuff. Some stuff is listed as... Come on, get back. Don't crash on me again. Games, I will literally show you. Most of the PSP games are not listed as PSP. They're actually listed as add-ons. So if I go to platform to show you, it says there's only 2 PSP games listed on this store. That is a complete load of hogwash, but a lot of them are actually bizarrely listed as add-ons. I do not know why. Do I go to filter, add-on types, platform, PSP? We have 230 PSP add-ons. And while many of these are DLC, you will find that there's some great 3 DLC, and some of these again you've got. So Pirates of the Caribbean, you've got games like GeForce, and that says GeForce PSP. That's actually the game, not... I believe that's actually the game, but the one that I did know, there's a couple of them well, didn't get it. So there, you've got the Sonic stuff, add-on, PSP. They're listed as add-on, but a lot of them are actually, yes. So Breath of Fire 3 doesn't have any DLC. That's actually the game. That's actually the Capcom game, but it's just listed, and you see the other Mega Man X, but for some reason they're listed in the add-on section. There's some great PSP only games. We covered a few like Loco Roco, the Carnival one, Midnight Carnival, that's well worth picking up. Yes, the Eye of Judgment. Annoyingly, Eye of Judgment, there were 4 DLCs. You can only buy 3 of them. The 4th one was a 3 download for people who purchased new copies. That has since been killed and is no longer available to download. So, but that shows you some of the problems. But again, if there's 3 DLC, I do recommend that you download it for the games. Again, one of the DW Strike Force DLCs, I noticed it's broken and you can't download it. So that just shows you some of the problems again with Sony and not listing this one here. Again, this is the issue of the same as the Star Hawk DLC, you can't download it. Okay, so now one easy way to download all your games is basically you have the download list. If you ever want to see all your downloads from the store, you can download it via here. As one way. So see their journey trial. Now I'm going to actually be a bit cheeky and show you that there is another option to purchase games. So, and I'm just going to quickly pause recording while I jump out and then I will be back in a sec. Okay, so welcome back to the main screen. So in case you ever want to know how to download your PS3 games and PS Vita stuff, so basically you can download PSP, PS3 and PS Vita stuff to the PS3 store. PSP and PS Vita stuff do require an online connection, but you can then transfer them. So I'm just going to show you, go to transaction management. You also have your download list here, and this is where you can find everything you've downloaded for download. So Journey, on this account I've only got Journey and Journey thing, and there's also your service list, because some items will download to your service list. Won't go to your download list, they'll be added to your service account, so you've got a selection here. A few bits and bobs. But sometimes items will go into your service list. Items that go to your service list are basically added to your sort of account. You also have a transaction history for all your purchases as well, but do keep an eye on your download list. The PS3 store, if you're going to buy anything, as I mentioned, make sure to exit out the store, add items to your cart, exit out, and go back in to buy stuff. You don't want, as you saw, it was towards the end of that first half of me going through the store, the memory leak was becoming quite prevalent. Don't purchase items when you've been in the store for a while. Basically add them to the cart, exit out, go back into the store, so refresh the store, and then immediately make a purchase. I actually had it during one of my purchases. It crashed during the transaction stream, and then I actually had the transaction management show me that I had a purchase. So if you go to transaction history, that will show you all your purchases. I actually had a purchase. This was actually buying Rain on the PS3. It showed up as a purchase, but when I went to download it, it crashed directly during the confirmation. And as a result, it showed up in the transaction stream, but I couldn't then download it. It was still showing as locked in the store. I had to wait 24 hours for basically my account to update with Rain to appear in the download list. Usually it should appear in the download list, but if you have a crash during the store, sometimes the download won't go through. And in my case, if it goes through in your transaction list, so it says you've been charged, don't pay for the item again, hold off and check after 24 hours. But issues like that do need to be sorted in the store. And the other thing I want to show you quickly is the gaming. So as I mentioned, you do need to make sure you have certain patches. So for, where is it? For MotorStorm, the original MotorStorm, you can no longer download this, and I'm going to be very careful selecting it. There you go, there's the MotorStorm update 3.1. If you do not have that patch, don't go buying the DLC from what I can see. It's about 400 megs I think, and without it the DLC supposedly doesn't work. Perhaps one of the DLCs includes that patch if you download it, but I don't know. I can't say for certain. I think Sony should add that patch to the store, because from what I'm seeing, it's not clear if any of the download items will actually add that patch to your game data utilities as originally downloaded online. And there are a couple of games that do have that now, where you can't get the patches anymore, as I mentioned. So you do need to be very mindful of that. Sony do really need to give the store some TLC and just improve it, to be brutally honest. It is very much unfinished, very just looking broken these days. As you've seen it does crash regularly, and it crashes regularly during payment screens as well. So there was an issue where some people were having problems downloading items. One of our own team guys had an issue where when he went to account management, I'll just show you in the download transaction management, when he went here, his items were all appearing. When he went to download them, they were bringing up an 8,000 something number. I did report it on a few forums. Sony appear to now have addressed that issue. As the guy who had that issue, he had it for about 3 weeks. He couldn't download anything, and then Sony appeared to have stealth fixed it, is the word. I don't like that. That's really bad. That's Sony not communicating. They do appear to have fixed the 8,000 error message. It was sort of 80,100 something error message where you couldn't download the game. Basically, you go here, you click download, and it would bring up an error message, and the only way we could find around it was setting up two-factor authentication, which didn't actually work on the PS3. You had to set up a device password, but Sony seem to have done something to address that problem, but it seemed to have been a bit of a stealth fix where they've implemented the fix, not admitting there's a problem when actually that problem actually broke consumer law. When you're breaching consumer law, that's a really big concern, especially when you're not communicating clearly. If you've got a problem, you say, okay, we've got a problem with this download service. We estimate a fix will be in a week's time. We apologise. But they didn't do that. They appear to have fixed it on the slide. But that's concerning because if that issue occurs again and Sony don't want to fix it, then it could render the download list inoperable and you just might not be able to download anything. So I will just quickly mention, as I shown before, there are a ton of, well, the PS3 store is still up. There is a ton of great games on the store, so I'm just going to go through, quickly scroll through a couple just to show you. So I've got some trials here I've been looking at. We've got High Velocity Bowling, Cuboid, Aquapanic, and the other thing I want to show you, Sackboy, Pixel Racer, Without a Blob. This was only released on PS3. The sequel is on 360. Wicked Monster Blast, you purchased, great little game. Flight Control is another one. This is another. Rocket Powered Battlecast, The Shape of Sound. I mean, there's some really great. So Everybody's Golf World Tour, Bombman Ultra, Worms Crazy Golf, Lingering Shadows. Now, I quite want to stop on Wizardry because I actually want to raise an issue here. Wizardry Labyrinth of Souls, you can download the trial, you can't buy the full game. The only way I could find, and this applies to a couple of games, if you can download the trial, you buy the full game via this option here. Not every trial has this option to do this, but some do, and then you go through this screen, so there's the price and you can purchase it. Some games you have to purchase via this version of the store, so basically you can't purchase it any other way, and I had to do that with Wizardry. Oh, it's kicked me out again, but just to show you, the only way you can purchase some games is via that purchase option. No other way to purchase them. You have to go via that option. But yeah, they've got a great ton of, so there's quite a few RC Rally, Motorstorms, Echo Cranes, Mad Dog 2. But yeah, just to go over the PS1 games, as I mentioned some, the Suikoden's are still up, Twisted Metal's still up, James Pond, I'm not sure if that's still up, but this has been delisted, this one's been delisted. That's a Japanese one, that's one of the many games, Adventures Little Ralph, that's only available in the Japanese store. Why wasn't that released in Europe and North America? Tombas, Kolonga, you saw there, it's now been delisted. Again, games like Aqua's been delisted, Ark the Lad's been delisted, Ark the Lad 2, Ark the Lad. So we've got seen a lot of games delisted from the store. A lot of these are being delisted, so do grab them now while you still can. So I'm going to sum that up there. As you see there is a great selection of games, and also the minis as well are worth downloading. There are like the Pinball Fancies, Pinball Dreams. These work on PS Vita, PS3 and PSP. But there are a lot of great games, PS2. The Neo Geo stuff here has already all been delisted, although I think most of them have been reissued on the PS4 under the Arcade Archive. But it's worth noting Sony do appear to be delisting a lot of games, so do grab them now while you still can. So I'm going to wrap this video look at the store there. As you can see there, the store does have a lot of problems and Sony needs to address it. It does crash. You do need to be very careful when buying things to avoid it crashing on you while you're purchasing, as that does cause problems, and the last thing you want to do is what happened to me, where it crashed in the middle of a transaction. I then had to wait 24 hours for it to add the game to my account, as it showed as I purchased it in the actual transaction menu but not in the store. That was actually with Rain, but as you saw, Rain has now been added to my account. It was added about 24 hours later. But do be wary of that. Also, don't double buy if you do get a crash error. Check to see if you've got a transaction error. The other thing is sometimes if you go into the store, you will get an error has occurred when you go to buy something. If it says that before you even attempt to buy anything, you go through and it says an error has occurred, what that's meant is the store basically is rammed. Exit out, double check if anything's gone through on your transaction menu. Normally it won't have done on those messages. What that means, you need to exit out the store, go back in and try and buy it again. I've had that happen to me a couple of times where clearly the PS3 store has been absolutely rammed the past few days. So obviously a lot of people have been buying games because it's been busy. In fact, I'd be interested to know how busy the PS3 and PS Vita store is. There's suggestions they've sold a lot of games. I know I spent upwards of about £200 buying games. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the PS3 store really is the gift that keeps on giving, as this bit's actually recorded after the rest of the video because I decided to buy the Advanced Experiments DLC for Beyond Two Souls. Now, first off, I'm showing you ones if you attempt to buy it in-game, and we get taken to kind of like a trip down memory lane as we get to see the old storefront. However, you can't buy it via this option. You have to actually go into PSN via the store via the old PSN bag option on the main XMB. This menu it brings up, and this does it with all games that had in-game purchase. They now bring up this. Quite why they don't just say this section is now closed, please go to the PSN store, I don't know, but yeah, you basically get brought up a menu with nothing inside it, which is just hilarious. However, the reason I'm bringing this up is I decided to buy the Advanced Experiments DLC and discovered Sony haven't done their homework at all, because they appear to have removed the different SKUs from the UK store so that you only get the UK SKU, which is a problem as Sony sold other SKUs of the game, not just the UK one in the UK. I actually bought my copy from Game. So I'm just going to show you the game data utilities, and this first file, as you notice there, Beyond Souls 2 Souls update data, brackets UK at the end, that's 270 megabytes. So that is the DLC. That is the Advanced Experiments. Let's scroll down, and here is my Beyond Two Souls update data. So you'll notice this is the patch 1. Version 02 update data EU3. So that is my SKU Beyond Two Souls, and this is the install one for my SKU. So my SKU is BCES0188 and it's EU3. Unfortunately, Sony have pulled the other SKU DLCs from the store at the minute. Now, normally when you bought them originally, like some games like Resistance, they give you all the SKUs and say, download the one relevant to your SKU. For some reason, Sony have basically made a bit of a hash of it in the store in the UK at the minute. So I'm going to be ringing up support and basically telling them I need the other DLCs for this, because one of them, the one they sell in the store, doesn't work with the copy I bought in the UK. Incidentally, there is 4 European SKUs of Beyond Two Souls. One is BCES01121, then you have 01122, 01123, and my one, which is 01888, and they were definitely, my one was sold in the UK, so I have no idea what Sony are doing, or they've just clearly have pulled the wrong DLC, mismatched something, but I'm going to be ringing up support and telling them they need to get that back added to the shop ASAP. As right now I've got purchased DLC I cannot use, and it will not work with my copy of the game I purchased in the UK, because they're not giving me the various versions to download. So yes, that's another example of an issue in the PlayStation Store that support will need to sort out for me. So one other point I should make is I was no longer able to add my debit card or credit cards via the PS3 transaction menus. Instead, I had to add them via the official Sony PlayStation website and going into the account options on the official website, adding them. It appears that the PS3 ability to add debit and credit cards may have been disabled. You can still add on the PS4, however, and the PS5, and I said the official website, but it doesn't seem to work on the PS3. So although I was able to buy games with my cards on the PS3, I had to add them via the official website. Some mentioned some license had expired. I don't know if Sony are going to renew it. And I think 1 or 2 people also reported they had to add money to their wallet and then go and buy games on the PS3. So do keep that in mind if you do plan on wanting to buy any PS3 games in the near future. Maybe Sony will address some of those issues, seeing as they're keeping the store open, but they have been very unclear with the messaging. All they said is it's going to stay open for now. They've not said if they're going to update it, fix it, or anything else really. And apparently the PS Vita is still going to have its game development ceased now, so they aren't accepting new submissions for PS Vita games. Okay, so that's everything I really want to talk about. This storefront, as I mentioned, is used for the PS4. I don't know if it's used for the PS5, as I've not actually used a PS5 yet, but many of the issues seen here do surface in the PS4 store as well. So if the PS5 uses the same type of store interface, which I suspect it probably does, I wouldn't be surprised if you get similar issues as well. So Sony really do need to do something to address all these problems and get them and fix them once and for all. Certainly, I think there are some legacy issues here due to how they designed the storefront in the first place. However, despite me pointing out all these issues, I should say there are a lot of very, very good games available to still buy in the PS3 store, and because we've had a reprieve, you can still get them for a little while longer until the store gets shut down again, or they get delisted, whichever comes first. Do keep that in mind. These games do technically have an invisible clock that we can't see that basically says at this point this game will be delisted for whatever reason, so do keep that in mind. I literally grabbed everything I'm after now and have done, especially seeing as we saw the Monkey Paws PS1 games get delisted at the start of April this year. But we will carry on covering the PS3 digital content, so I will actually do a video that covers some of the best games that are exclusive to the PS3 store that you should still buy and grab now while you still can. There are some great games. I'll cover a few that I know have been delisted as well. I was originally going to do a chat on the Digital Dark Age at the front of this video, but it made the video too long, so I'll do that in a separate video. I do actually have a few issues I need to raise with Microsoft's storefront, so Microsoft are going to get a similar video in the very near future, and Microsoft also have issues with downloading games as well, which is another issue we will be chatting about, so keep an eye on the channel for that video. So if you do know of any issues on the PlayStation 3 store I haven't covered, or even ones on the PS Vita or the PSP, please do leave a comment, and also keep an eye on the text below the video. I will keep that up to date with all the issues we know about, and I will update any and put any erratas or anything else that I see from this video in there as well. So do keep an eye on the text below. That'll be more up to date than eventually the video is. So if Sony address any of the issues, I'll mention it. If Sony don't fix them, I'll also mention it, and I'll also list any issues that I didn't cover in this video. And also, if you did enjoy this content, please do share it as well. Certainly if you're aware of issues, share it so Sony are made aware of some of these problems, because I know initially just me putting up a video on YouTube isn't necessarily going to get the word out there. I need you guys to help spread it, and we do need Sony to address some of these problems. As right now, it does look like a store in places that literally doesn't want to sell you anything. I can just imagine going into like this creepy store, run down the games all like in cages on the walls, and some guy looking at you. What are you doing here? Please leave. We don't want to sell you our games. But yeah, Sony do need to address a lot of these issues. So like this video as well, as it does help raise our rankings and basically say to YouTube more people want to see this video. And we do want as many people as possible to see this video. And of course, if you enjoy Randomised Gaming's content, as always, I've been the host, Random Gamer Riven, for this video. Please do consider subscribing to the channel. That's entirely up to you if you want to subscribe, but it is very much appreciated if you like our content. Have a look at all the various videos we do have on the channel first to see if you like our content or not. Do share and let everyone know about this video, and share the issues that we've showcased in this video. Sony has said do need to fix them. Okay, that's it from me. I'm not going to say a word more. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned to the channel.